Welcome back. We're back. The Times Lakers show. I'm Dan Woike in Nolens. Am I saying that right, brother?
Just say New Orleans and you'll be okay.
Nolens?
It's Nolens, but
New Orleans.
there you go, New Orleans.
Can we do real talk for a second here? I don't care if the boss sees it. I have not had a drink in New Orleans. I haven't had a hurricane. I haven't had
And then
Tamarack.
look
I
at my
haven't had a
look at my
cocktail.
eyes. Look at my
None.
eyes.
Zero.
Oh.
I am here in New Orleans. I did not leave New Orleans because we've got a play-in game Tuesday in New Orleans, BT, between the Lakers and the Pelicans. We're gonna touch on a bunch of different stuff, but let's start there. I want to get this off my chest right away. This notion that the Lakers should tank the play-in game, Mike Greenberg said this on Get Up today, is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It is the antithesis of sport. One of the worst things that's happened in sports in my lifetime is this notion that you should duck teams, you should lose on purpose. All of this stuff is horrible. The Lakers need to win this game because if they don't win this game, Steph Curry might make 9 threes and end their season. That's why you win this game. Any other kind of notion that they should do this to avoid playing the Denver Nuggets, it's arrogant, and it's the type of arrogance, by the way, that the number 8 seeded team in the Western Conference, despite having a very good year, they don't get to have this.
Look, Dan, I've heard that same conversation. And
Stupid.
I don't respond to ignorance and stupidity, and I'll leave it at that.
Let's talk about the Pelicans, first of all.
Yes.
And I think we need to talk about what went right on Sunday. BT, I wrote it. For me, I can always tell when the Lakers are going to have like a real sort of all-around performance in a big game, judging by LeBron James' activity on defense. What he did to Zion, you saw him do it too. I mean, we saw it in Vegas earlier this year. We saw it in other wins that they've had over the Pels. When he guards like that, BT, how good are the Lakers?
They can be, I would dare say, a top 4 team in the West. When he defends that way.
Oh, they're going to have to be better than that, but yeah.
Well, I said that's how good they can be.
Sure.
I mean, when he plays that way, he hasn't played that way all season long because the guy is 390 years old. Okay,
Yep.
So when you're that old, and I wouldn't know because I'm also 425 years old.
That's right. You don't throw your fastball every day either, right?
No, I do not. I don't throw it most years. Are you kidding me at this stage in my life? No, but he plays that way. But let's not forget the way AD, Anthony Davis, as I like to call him when he's playing great basketball, he was phenomenal.
Right? That's his government name. That you don't like to call him Anthony Davis. By the way, that is what his mother asked you to call him.
But everyone calls him AD, and I call him Anthony. Which
that is true. You do that.
I love to do that because it gets a small.
You were like Tony when Tony has a great game. If you said that would be like that's what you like to call him, Tony D or something. Yeah. Anyways,
but back to the LeBron James defense. I watched some of the game yesterday because I was also watching the Clippers play a game that no one played in, so it allowed a lot of us.
Someone played in that game, BT. Someone did something awesome in that game.
Yeah, well, yeah, Boban's incredible. Okay,
Boban's the best.
Gotta love
Boban forever. BT, quick side note: tell everybody what Boban did if they missed it.
If he misses the second free throw, which he was going to do because he kept going this to the Clipper fans, he played with the Clippers for a while. He's still beloved. If he misses the second free throw, they win what? Food.
Free chicken.
Free chicken. The fans loved it. We all loved it. The Clipper players loved it. Boban loved it even more.
It was so good.
He's just this lovable person.
But yeah, so you were saying you watched a little bit of Lakers Pelicans because that was one of the few games that had real meaning yesterday. What was your quick impression?
How hard, how determined, and the purpose the Lakers played with.
Yep.
Which was something. It was something really nice to watch them do in a one-game setting like that. Now, can they do it again on Tuesday? I believe they can. I mean, we've seen the Lakers really pretty much destroy the Pelicans several times in Las Vegas, right? They did it to them there. The Pelicans did come back and beat them. I mean, so when Coaches say it's all about matchups, how important that is. Well, this proved is correct because the Lakers match up well against the Pelicans, and the Pelicans know that. And they
Yeah,
put
and I mean,
wood to them.
it is interesting because it's also sort of this is the argument for maybe not trying to be the 7th seed, but guess what? Too bad. You're gonna have to play Denver if you win this game, and you're gonna have to figure it out. And I think Denver is capable or I'm sorry, pardon me, New Orleans is capable of figuring some stuff out against the Lakers. I think
Absolutely.
Brandon Ingram didn't really play a lot in that game. First came back from injury. He is one of the best tough shot makers in the NBA. On that list, I think with like Kevin Durant, as far as guys who you feel like Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, guys who feel like Paul George too. If you play amazing defense, they somehow still can like make that 19-footer. Brandon Ingram has that, and he'll matter to them. I think Zion will be much more aggressive than he was in Sunday's game. That might open the door for LeBron to draw a couple charges like he did in Vegas. But, if those calls are blocks and not charges, that game changes really, really quickly. I do think that there is a risk here because of how good the Lakers played on Sunday, that complacency is
No, no.
I think it's a thing.
Complacency is not the word I would use. Is can they recapture that, or can they play
Sure.
at that same level again? That becomes
Yeah.
the biggest question for me, more than being complacent.
Well, and I think it's more just it's not just mental, it's physical too, right? I mean, like
Yes.
there is like an element of, okay, so Anthony Davis left that game with back spasms. I think he's gonna be fine. But the back is tricky. I mean, it was sort of a tricky play that started all of this, right? Larry Nance Jr., little light shove in the back while he's in the air. He lands kind of funny, and it spasms up on him. Obviously all of that stuff can change a game quickly. A couple of things that I think the Lakers need to do better against New Orleans. They were for big stretches of the game played pretty perfect offense. The zone, I think, kind of bogged them down a little bit. They found Rui Hachimura on the backside for a couple of dunks, but then they also had some plays where, I mean, look, LeBron James and Anthony Davis both missed dunks in this game. LeBron right at the end of the first half, AD on a monster lob. That would have been a huge highlight play. He missed that. They bungled the 3-on-1 that Rui Hachimura bobbled, I'm sorry, where LeBron passed it to the wrong player. Should have passed it to Austin Reeves on the right wing. That these are the little things that can be cleaned up. But like, look, if they play hard like they did on defense and they execute close to the way they did on offense, I think they will win this game. But it is not it's not going to be the kind of walk that I think people have
Right.
sort of prescribed it as. I think New Orleans has been a better team than that this season on the whole. They have not played well at home, BT, here recently. See, I think if the Lakers can play with this sort of game-to-game intensity, I think they're better than just like a top 4 team in the West. I think they might be the second best team in the West at their highest. My issue always with them is just their ability to sustain it. To like, that their fastball is a really good fastball. The issue is they can't throw it all the time. And when I've talked to players on the team throughout the season, when I've talked to LeBron behind the scenes at times of the season, there has been this sense that this team has been more built for the playoffs than they were for the regular season because of just some of the inherent rest advantages that you get at this time of year, right? Like, take this game, for instance. They did not have to get on a plane yesterday to go fly to Phoenix. This sounds like first world problems, but flying, does kind of slow the recovery process and stuff like that. You change times with all these different things. LeBron's able to go home after the game, get his dinner, and recover all night. Like he has access to all of that. So let's hear. I want to move on really quickly, BT. Let's talk a little Clippers Mavs.
Oh, I would love to. Yes.
How do you see this series? What's kind of what are your big? Because we'll have time to get into it more next week, and we'll be a little bit into it. But what do you think of this?
Historically, the 4 or 5 matchups have always been the best series
Yep.
because the team is so equally talented. This year, I would say let's just say if it's Golden State playing Oklahoma City in the first round, that's gonna be a damn good matchup. There will
Sure.
be, I wouldn't consider that an upset. If the Lakers were to beat Denver at 2-7, I don't know if I would
That's
call
an
that
upset,
that is an upset, but you know they're capable of doing it.
but they're capable, I think.
The
Sure.
Clippers and Mavs would have played for the third time in the playoffs in the last
Love it.
5 years. Oh man, I am so looking forward to seeing Luka Doncic play, and more so than him, I want to see those shots that Kyrie makes. That dude can
Yeah.
ball. His skill level is unreal. As he like to say, he's an artist. And I want to see the artist paint his Picasso. And I want to see what Clippers coach Tyronn Lue, who coached Kyrie in Cleveland, what he does as I will call him one of the best, one of the top three best coaches in the NBA. I want to see what he does to try and slow those two down some, and then to not forget about as Shaq calls them, the others.
Real quick on the Dallas front, loved what they did at the trade deadline. They were really
Oh,
aggressive.
absolutely.
They put a lot of picks into play, but left with Daniel Gafford, who to me, if you're an LA basketball fan, Outer Jordan-ish in terms of the way that he can rim run and block shots, catch lobs. PJ Washington from Charlotte is kind of an upgrade over Grant Williams for them. As kind of a do-it-all player. I like their supporting cast. BT, I think it's going to be a really good series. The biggest
Yes.
question to me is what's up with Kawhi Leonard?
I was just going to say that. That is a conversation Clippers coach Tyronn Lue and I have been having for the last week. And it's like the Pentagon mysteries. We don't
Yeah,
know. They won't say. Either way it goes, if Kawhi plays in game one Sunday, he will have not played an NBA game in 3 weeks. So even if he's 100% healthy with his knee, he still won't be in peak basketball condition because you will lose something by not playing an NBA game for that extended period
sure.
of time. So he is the key to all of this, especially for the Clippers, but he's a key to the entire series on his health because I think back to last year against the Phoenix Suns, Kawhi Leonard was virtually unstoppable. What stopped him? A torn meniscus in his right knee.
Yeah, I was just talking to Fred Rogan and Rodney Peete on 570 here in LA a couple minutes ago, and we were talking about the Clippers. And one of the things, and they had kind of asked me the sort of, radio-y big picture questions about what it would mean for them if this doesn't work out. I will say, yeah, this is really bad luck, the timing of this for the Clippers. I mean, maybe it's predictable in some ways because of Kawhi's injury history, but not having him BT available as a guy who you can just sort of put onto Luka Doncic for 20 minutes, 15 minutes in this game as an option as a defender, it just stinks. It's like what I would want to see most is you have one of the best on-ball defenders of the last 15 years. I think that's fair to say about Kawhi Leonard when healthy. He's a monster on that side of the ball versus one of the hardest guys to guard. And that is a weapon that the Clippers had to use at any moment. I don't think they would have done it from the opening tip, BT. I really don't think that's how they would have defended Luka, but it's something they could have tried at times. And if he is not totally right, even if he's back, his mobility isn't where it needs to be. And when you have knee swelling, that's what it affects. My understanding, right, is it affects your mobility. Um, that's going to be tough. Hard series. I think I would pick the Mavs, but I don't feel great about it. It's mostly because of Kawhi. I really do think that the Clippers will lock into a playoff intensity that they haven't totally had since the All-Star break. Like this team knew they were going to be in this mix, and was playing excellent basketball, and they've got a ton of firepower. Gosh, it seems unfair, BT. The West is so good. If we're going to lose some really, really good teams and some really good
Oh,
players early in this, and it does sort of seem unfair. Like this is sort of the year of the consolation bracket. Like let's just run this back for seventh place somewhere else, and we can watch some good basketball. But I'm not going to ask you to make a pick on Clippers Mavs BT, but Let's say, what do you think, Lakers Pels?
I am picking the Lakers to win the game tomorrow night and a closer, tougher game that the Lakers really have control of, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
And I see the Lakers going on to Denver,
On to
where
Denver.
they will have their hands full and basically won't win that series. But
Basically won't win that series. Yeah.
nah, just I think again, matchups. Matchups has proven to be the key
Well,
in this
hey, maybe
league.
they should tank. BT, maybe
And
they should tank the play-in then.
well,
Go
that's
play the
a
Thunder.
yeah, well, you go tank. Then
That's the loser mentality.
and look at your hair. Your hair is tanked today. So okay, tanking guy. Tank, please.
Oh my gosh, it's a mess. All right. Thanks for watching the Times Lakers show. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, all of that fun stuff. Find us on social. Find us on the page of the LA Times. I tweeted this earlier today. The thing you can do to support journalists, to support the writers of the teams you cover more than anything else, click the link, subscribe to their publications. If not us, do it for someone else. See you next time.